Improvise. Go nuts. Random
I
questions.
will improvise, yeah. Okay, just tell me when to start, and then I will just think a bit.
All right. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Before to start, I'm going to switch off in Spanish because it's a special day today. So, para todos aquellos que me estén viendo, que nos estén viendo, que sean de habla hispana, pues hoy tenemos una invitada súper especial, sobre todo para mí, que es un referente dentro del sector de los esports. Ella es Carmeline, tiene, como ya he dicho, un perfil profesional dentro del sector de los esports muy grande, y quiero pues que todo el mundo la conozca, sepa un poquito más sobre ella y que nos cuente cositas. So, okay, Nadine, we can start.
All right, so to all our viewers out there, we're going to continue in English, so no confusions will be made. All right, now, it's first of all a pleasure to have you on the show. So,
thank you.
Every person has what we call an origin story in gaming. What is your origin story in gaming?
I think it goes back to when I was 3 years old and I would watch my uncles playing Colin McRae's driving game on the PS1. So that's how it all started. Growing up, I wasn't really into video games at all. I would play The Sims mostly. And then as time went by, I found out about esports. And that's when, I guess, the gates of gaming opened for me and I became a gamer, as we would call it nowadays.
Okay, interesting. And did you have any reference, maybe next to you, or maybe a brother or sister or someone or a cousin that was in this sector or no? Because we have another guest that maybe they have a brother or sister that are in the video games world, you know, and they usually just follow them. No? But in your case, you had that.
No, I didn't. There was no one close to me that was like into esports. Some people were into gaming or into League of Legends kind of thing, but nobody was really into the proper into sector, not playing, not doing anything behind the scenes. And I guess that was another reason why I felt so compelled to get into this, because I was like, hey, I'm starting this way alone. I'm going to this path to start adventure alone. As well aim high, you know, like I'm gonna try to do this the best thing ever and maybe inspire people around me to follow the same path as I did.
Well, interesting.
Here's something. So I was reading an article, but correct me if I'm wrong. You were doing a career in tourism, correct?
Yes.
And all of a sudden you went to Berlin during an event and you became fascinated by esports. What was the secret remedy that got you into esports? What happened in Berlin during that event that, you know, hooked you away from tourism?
Well, it was the feeling of belonging. I had grown up watching my uncles go watch football, watch our local team, which are all like great fans of hooligans. And I always, whenever I would go with them, I had this feeling of like, yeah, this is cool, but okay, but you will see all the people singing around you and chanting and like supporting teams so fervently. And I was like, okay, yeah, fine. But I didn't find out about this until I started following esports. And when I went to Berlin and I stepped into the LCS studio, it was like, wait a second. Is this what was going on in the minds all this time? Was this a feeling that we're feeling at the time? I now understand why they are so excited about this, because I'm feeling the same thing for esports. You know, that's why I switched things, because I found my passion.
Could we say that this always, I mean, the people that want to go or are into the esport, maybe it's because of a feeling, because I just went to the esport sector because of a feeling, because I was in Madrid watching the semifinals, the world semifinals, and also the finals of the leg. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then my mind was like, okay, I need to be part of this world. You know, it was a feeling. So I think with you it's the same, no? Maybe?
Yeah. It was totally the same. It was like, wait, this is what I've been missing my entire life. This is the passion that I need. in something. It's not about the team, it's about esports as an entire thing. So yeah, I guess it's the same thing.
Amazing, amazing.
People misinterpret esports. We've always had this huge debate. It was like, when you ask people, what do you think esports is? The most common answer is, sit behind a computer and play video games. Like, no, that's not it. There's more to it. You're an example. You're a caster, a host. You get to commentate, you have your own style. I mean, that's one of the many careers in esports. That's like, you don't have to be just a player. You could be a crazy caster. You could be an insane host. You could be, a charismatic coach. You could be anything. And we've interviewed a variety of people with a variety of degrees. Like, one person is a dentist who does content creation in esports. One is a lawyer. The other person is a pharmacist. It's like, you could be anything and you could still have a degree in your hands. So it's remarkable how even now esports is still a bit misinterpreted, but because of these huge events that are happening around the world, it's influential.
Okay, and can you tell to us about your background in the esports sector?
Wow. So
Long list. Hey,
long list.
You have the right to brag, so go ahead, all yours.
Well, it's actually more of like a self-discovery journey, I would say. It all started when I did my I started to take a course into esports administration. So just to find out about what esports, what are esports, who does what, sort of. So it was very introductory. And then I connected with some people there and I started walking as a volunteer for an event, an upcoming event. And just to give you an idea, this event was meant to take place in April 2020. So as we all know, it was cancelled because it was just like right there. It couldn't happen. Please life. We postponed it until September, but we need to do something in the date, either way. So when the online event was finished, I switched to another event and then I quit it. I wasn't happy. And then he was like, what will make me happy within esports right now? I thought it'll be interviewing people, getting them to share their passions, getting them to the audience, be a bridge between the players and the teams and the actors within the esports sector and the audience. So that's what I did. I joined a fan club, the American fan club at the time. And then this was a life-changing moment for me, right? I saw this ad for an university women's and non-binary tournament. And I was like, this is for me. This is interesting. They asked for casters with no experience. They were asking for people who are just passionate about the game and wanted to learn. And I thought this might be the case for me, but I didn't apply. Why? Because I was like, this is in English. I was thinking there's no way I get chosen. But the day before the deadline closed, I talked to my mum and I was like, hey, you know that thing I told you about? I'm not going to apply because I'm not going to get chosen for the role. And she was like, yes, apply. What was the worst thing that could happen? I was like, thank God I have to record the clip, let's do this. And I get the news that I've been chosen. And from then on, it's been a series of things. Like, then I got to host the Baltic Masters, which disappeared a year ago. And it was an ERL, so a regional league. Then I started doing some casting as well, casting, hosting. And in the past few months before joining Riot Games, I was hosting mostly. So it's been a long ride. There's been loads of ups and downs as it usually happens, but I'm proud I'm here today. So I guess I did something well, right?
Yeah. I mean, you do need an ups and downs in life in order to discover yourself. I mean, I think there's a saying: if you fall, how do you know how to rise up? You need this push on the ground in order to to see how far you can go until you rise up. So it's a good thing you've experienced these things, the positives and negatives.
I mean, the negatives were very negative, I have to say, but the positives were really positive, so they sort of compensate. And altogether, when you look at it and you reflect on it, it's the question, was it worth it? And in the case, it was worth it. And I wouldn't change a thing of things that I've done. And I think that's a lesson in itself, isn't it?
Back to memory lane. It was like, oh, I remember the good old days. And it's only been 2 years.
Just behind me.
The walls of memories.
I think your career was very, very, very long since I met you. I think it was in 2020, if I remember well. And yeah, your background changed a lot. It's amazing about the position that you got now, no? Because I think now you are with Riot Games, if I remember well.
Yeah.
So it's amazing about all this year how you develop your professional background. No? There are always negative things because and we all know, and all the girls that came to the program said that for girls maybe it's more difficult. Sometimes we have some problems, but if we just don't give up, we just get all our objectives, and I think you get it, and you're still doing it. I think, or maybe it's my it's my point of view, no? Because I think I saw how you progressed during this year. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, but I guess being a woman comes with extra challenges when it comes to esports. Many people are really like very respectful, but there's always people that make you think like, why so? Why can I give them peace of my mind, but you can't give them peace of your mind? But these are the minority. I think I've been really lucky with the people I've met. They were all very supportive.
Can you give us an advice about how to develop your professional background, or what are the steps that you need to follow, or something like that?
Of course. So my advice would be to aim high. That's the thing. Like, just set goals for yourself. Do be very humble. Like, take that into account. Be humble. Be aware of your talents, but also work hard. Because I've seen many people with loads of talent just put that in, no work hard whatsoever, and then what you find yourself is at this place where everyone is. Yes, it's like a funeral kind of thing. And yeah, if you want to just shine above other people, you have to walk with them too. So be kind to people, be very kind to people, not generally kind, not just force. You need to be kind, you need to work hard, and you need to, if you want to start in the industry, just think of what you want to do. Many people love esports, but what do you want to do in esports, right? It doesn't mean you're going to be doing this for your entire life. It doesn't mean that it's just one thing you're going to do, and I can tell you about it. But you need to be open to new opportunities. So think of what you want to do, and then set a roadmap for yourself. How do I want to start? In my case, I started working with fan clubs. Just as a volunteer, of course, just with fan clubs. You approach them, you send them a DM on Twitter. You're like, hey, so I've seen you've got a fan club and you're doing interviews. Would you like those interviews to be recorded? I will be happy to do those for you. And I'm very, I love this team. So can I join and do this for you? And that's how you do it. And also, there are many sites nowadays that are specialized in providing people with opportunities within the field, whether it's a volunteer, a junior entry kind of thing. So just check those out too. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and maybe, probably you'll get a chance into this.
It takes time, but little by little, it takes time. But of course, eventually they'll discover themselves in the process where they, as we say, where they belong in esports. Because everyone has a set of talents that some of them they know, some of them are still hidden until they're put to the test. So it's always good to keep your options open and try anything, I guess, whatever you can land. And sometimes, I mean, who knows? You could be a commentator without knowing you have the charisma of a commentator. Some people don't know themselves that they are capable of being good commentators or even leaders. Some people didn't know they have the potential to be leaders until they were put in the seat of a leader. So it's good to be put in those situations to discover their true selves.
Yeah, actually, I'm reading a book right now about leadership, right? And it says exactly what you said. Most people aren't like, I'm gonna be a leader. They get put in that position, and that's how they flourish, and that's how they grow into it. Whether they notice they had that ability or not. And I think it's very important, again, just find out about your talents. I've been learning how to produce in the past because I didn't have to, but just talk to the producers, talk to everyone as well. Like, find out about that too, because there are many professions that are not highlighted enough that are just substantial and so important for the development of esports. From, again, coaches, which might get more recognition, to use a straight up like nutritionists, the people who are taking care of the players and the teams well-being in terms of food, for example. So just look into those avenues, because I think no matter where you come from, you can find a place to walk in this industry.
Absolutely.
I think there is a lot of diversity in the esports sector. I think that's something very positive.
Some careers are being introduced recently, like for instance, the psychologist. In the old days, people didn't take psychology serious. People were like, what is psychology in esports? You just have to sit behind a computer, until they discovered that the mental aspects of a player is crucial. I mean, you could put two players with equal skills, one who, say, tilts very fast and the other one who doesn't. Who will win? The person who doesn't tilt, even though they have similar skills. We saw that the importance of psychology and physiotherapy, as you said, the physical health, the physical wellness. So if somebody's sitting on a chair with a back pain, they're not going to play very well. So, physiotherapy, a mental health trainer, a physical health trainer, all these aspects are slowly being introduced within the esports world. Even I think there are researchers as well, this category where people do case studies to see the potential of certain aspects. There is so much to do. And I'm pretty sure law is also going to be included in esports, because no doubt there will be regulations and protocols that lawyers will have to be part of. So it's like there's as esports progresses, new career paths will open, and some of them will progress and create more branches. So we'll have to see how it progresses in the future, of course.
Yeah, and if I think about my own experience, when I was doing tourism and I found out about esports, my first thought was like, what's an integral part of esports events? And from tourism, I could do this, and that's what I did later. I did a master in events and communication and marketing. So because I thought my profile could suit this, and then obviously I found out about the interview and host and so on. But my first thought was, what can I do with what I've got now? So do come always with things. My end of the degree project was about esports tourism. If you are into politics or if you are into tourism, why not advocate to bring esports event to a city and see the value it adds to the quality of life, the quality of your city's attraction for technology, events, for anything related to gaming, esports altogether. So there's always something you can find out that you would be able to do, even if you are just starting off here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Curious, this is a perspective question. What do you think esports currently lacks that needs to implement to make it better in the future?
Ooh, the first thing, I guess, it's a very common answer, will be loss. Because right now you see such chaos in terms of what the teams are able to do, what the players are able to do, what the tournament organizers are able to do. I wish the countries were looking like really into this, because it's not something that'll come in the future. This is happening already. There have been lawsuits, there have been so many things happening that we need people specializing, and you're seeing that with lawyers, but it just takes more thought for the actual lawmakers to take these into account. And even on a regional level, we are thinking about that too. We're thinking, how can we make this space professional in a way that is just adapted to the level we're talking about? In my case, it's amateur, but something that can protect people from getting scammed kind of thing. So that's regulating it. That's the first thing I think. And the second thing I think we need would be, again, working hard. Not just relying on talent. I think as time goes by, people will start realizing, wait a second, I'm very good, but this other person is good and he's also working really hard. I should get to do it too. So those are the things. Effort, working hard, and then the laws being up to par with the situation in esports right now.
Yeah, I think maybe in Spain it's necessary the law.
Yeah,
totally. I think there is nothing. They are just regulating this sector about the laws that we have already, but I think they need to be changed.
Yeah, I mean, you can see some political parties aiming to do that, but in reality, how much can you do in order to make it? You need to do it, not just talk about it, but do it like it's happening in other countries around Europe. Even then, you don't have to be the first one to do it. You can take the example from those countries and be like, here, let's take this and localize these ideas. And I think that will be a very good step in the right direction right now.
I mean, baby steps. After all, it takes time. I mean, if I'm going to look at it in the MENA region, for instance, since esports is a brand new thing, the laws are a bit tricky, since it's like the career, it's in itself, the career path is completely new. So we still have this issue with parents when we're trying to show them esports. They're like, instant response is like, this is a waste of time. You should do something better. But esports, and when you're trying to debate with them, it gets a lot worse, because they used to see us when we were kids playing behind the computer, so that implemented impressions like esports equals games equals waste of time. So that's a theme. But because of how the current situation is, because of the clubs that are being made, because of all the investors and all the investments and all the brands, little by little, this ideology is, a little bit starting to get convinced. But, even so, esports is still, for example, in the MENA region, it's still brand new. So people are still hesitant about it. Like we're still cautious. We believe there is potential, but we're still cautious about it for two reasons. Because esports is still a brand new theme in the entire world, and it's an even newer theme in the MENA region. And because of the custom mentality, it's still like we are afraid of change. So we're cautious. We take very, very slow pace before we accept something that will influence a lot of structure within society.
It's understandable, I think, given how the situation is now. Like, if you just look to all the regions, you're looking at NA, for example, it can give a feeling of like, what's happening? Are we crumbling down? Is it the peak that we have rose through, and then the bubble is exploding? I think it's a matter of just it'll get stabilized again. It'll happen. It's a natural process, and in the end, I mean, you've seen that replicating in every single region. It's going to be happening. I think the matter is just being open to these new ideas, and sport, I think, is a good time to take a step into those and start building each region's own identity.
Little by little. Christina?
No, little by little. No, yeah. I was thinking because we have a player in our Valorant roster that he's 17 years old, and he got an offer about Radiant League, that is a semi-professional here in Spain. And their parents said no, because he had to spend more time playing. They were like, no, if you're still in the amateur, yes, but in the semi-professional, no, because you need time to study, and there are those problems yet. So that's why, as Carmen said, it's necessary to change the law, be more professional. To professionalize this sector, not to try to change.
Yeah.
So parents maybe can change their point of view about this sector, maybe.
Yeah, I just think, like, I don't know, go ahead, please.
Sorry, my apologies. I think it depends on each culture, because we can tell that each culture has a mindset. Like some are traditionalists, some are very firm traditions, some are more open to change. It's kind of tricky when it comes to which culture we're talking about. So
yeah, I think it's just that the benefits of esports do not seem to be reaching them. In part of it is due to the news, right? Like, my mom will so often come up to me and be like, "Hey, Carmen, look at this news about this event that you went to," and it's like, "Oh, great," but I'm guessing many other parents focus on the negative news about this. Like, and I also think it's a matter of, like, of course, if they get this source of information, if the kid told them, "I'm gonna be going semi-pro in, I don't know, tennis," they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, my kid's good enough to be at this level in tennis, even at 17 years old. Oh my gosh!" But in esports, they do not see the benefits of it. So it's like, you're going to be sitting on a computer doing nothing. That's somehow something we need to improve on, the communication of the good things that this can bring to a kid, to people.
Like, for example, when they see your parents or your family see you on TV, they're like, "We're gonna call you. Hello, we just saw you on TV. Hi."
Yeah, their point of view changed, because my parents were like, "Are you going to create a club?" And I was like, "Yes." And they were like, "But what is that? No, this didn't know about this sector, no." But during this year, when they went to different events, they saw to us on TV, because most of the matches are on Twitch. People can see them even in the event, no. The last split, my family were watching us to play, and they were like, "Oh my God, I saw you on TV!" And I was like, "Of course."
We're famous.
And they are changing their point of view, because they are seeing that this is like a job. It's similar to a job. So yeah, they still like, well, okay, but you continue with your professional background. Of course, I will continue with my job, because this is secondary for me. But this is something that they are like changing their minds. No, it's making they are seeing with another point of view. No, but yeah, they need time. They need time, I think, and also the society right now here, maybe in Spain, they need to change, but it's going to be little by little, I think.
Depending on the government, but we'll do our thing socially. We'll still play games. We'll still break keyboards because we all rage. Nobody's innocent. So we do our thing and hope things change for the better.
Yeah. Okay, Carmen, I'm going to ask you something because you were caster about League of Legends, but also you were caster about Wild Rift. Which one? Which one do you prefer?
I'm gonna pay attention to this one because one of those games I play. Go on. I'm paying attention. Yes.
TFT. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding actually. But I will say Wild Rift actually.
What?
Because in terms of like League of Legends, when I arrived in the scene, it had been going on for like so many years already, and like it's got entire history. But when I think of Wild Rift, there's so much to be written about yet. There's so much history to be made. Which players of today will make it to be like the fakers of the Wild Rift in a few years? So those are things that really have me excited to be able to join this so early on, as it is happening right now. So I think that's a game I like. And also, even though I had been playing League of Legends for quite a few years, when I started playing Wild Rift, it was like, wait, why is this so comfortable to play? This is easier. As in, like, they explain things to me. Like, I like this. I do like this. So, and also, obviously, you haven't been able to take it everywhere you go with you.
Okay, I have to say something. You have right now talking with those two persons, that play Wild Rift.
Oh.
We are Wild Rift players.
Yes. She plays Lux and she is like OPKS kills. It's like, I don't even need to play the gals. I literally just camp mid lane and she plays Lux like instant snipe. Meow. And I don't have to do anything. I'll just stand there casually farming.
I love it. I was only Lux and Seraphine, but I love Lux. I think she's an underrated pick, and you keep doing that, okay? You keep defending those Lux players.
Yeah, Lux, best OP support. We're just gonna ignore the Yuumi pro players out there. No Lulus. Who needs Lulu? No. Just pick Lux and, just snipe people randomly. Oh, boy.
Shields, bindings. What else do you need? Right? You've got
Come on. Okay, so this is gonna turn into a debate. Sorry, but this is a must. Because recently, hold on, because I've converted to support for some reason. I played mid for a while, Brand, Vex, Zig. It was fun. Then I decided to convert to a weird position, which is top lane, Malphite. Then out of sheer rage, I decided to pick Teemo, which apparently gets everybody pissed off at me. But for some reason, playing this character is fun. Yes. Because every character you face is a melee. So you're basically just pushing them out the lane. And then, out of random race, I decided to play support. I don't know how this happens. I started off with, I think, Nami. Didn't work very well. Tried Lux. I failed badly. For some reason, then I chose Lulu, which is a fun character. And then, Yuumi, my favorite support character. Because
Yuumi, I don't like Yuumi.
How dare you? You are not my friend, no. Christina. Be gone. Go away. Yuumi is awesome because you literally just, help the person who's doing well. Like, let's say in casual gameplay, your ADC is playing terrible, but your mid laner is doing exceptional. So, you know what? I'm going to follow the mid laner. And apparently, you snowball with the mid laner. You play literally lazy. You just snipe with your missile, ulti, heal, do all the buffs, and just sit there casually watching the enemy lose. So satisfying.
To me, it sounds like Tariq. You can't do the same with Tariq. I mean, just blind to all the person, just do it. You have to play nasty card.
He's too demanding. He's like, run after people with a hammer.
I mean, I have to say, I didn't hate Yuumi that much. I think it's part of it's a lot of, acre chamber, like, yeah, Yuumi's horrible, but in reality, she's a card with a book, with a spell book.
So in conclusion, Carmen, you are a Lux main. Thank you.
Well, actually, I was a Nami main, but...
You converted to Lux, and now you're defending Lux folk everywhere, including Christina over here.
Yeah. And looks pro player.
I can vouch for that. I can actually support that statement. She carried me more than any time with Lux, while literally I was just AFK farming. True
We have
story.
to play together. I need to get
Yeah,
very
yeah.
hard, please.
Challenge
But I
accepted.
usually play when my characters are Lux, Morgana, Nautilus,
Oh,
Seraphine 2, Karma, and I think that's all.
I'm more or less the same. Mages in the bot lane. That's my thing. Also because I'm horrible at farming. I'm very terrible at that.
Farming, yeah, I'm terrible farming too.
Farming is like my worst nemesis, so I can literally not do anything else. I need to support instead.
You're giving support main a bad impression. I was like, why do you play support? Because I hate farming.
Well, because I'm also carry, so I like taking care of people, and I guess playing support enables you to do that, even if it's just as a card and just clinging on to someone else.
I don't know why sometimes in the game just put you in another lane, in a random lane. I don't know if that happens to you. Most of the time I play in the top lane. I don't know why. And I always use Timo. Sorry, but
Oh, someone understands me, Timo.
because for me it's the easiest where I think is because I don't know to use, for example, Nasus or I don't know the others.
Malphite, Darius.
Malphite, Darius.
Garen is easy. Come on, Garen.
I can't.
Garen is easy. Look, Garen is easy. Trust me, he's like easy. Garen is like simply the easiest character in top lane. You literally can regenerate. You just have to stay behind, harass, and run away. Just hit and run kind of thing. He's self.
Yeah, but Timo plays with distance, so for me, it's better.
Yeah, range. I'm bad at playing melees or assassins. Like anything that involves like close distance and quick decisions, it's not my thing. Just give me range.
Yeah.
Give me comfort.
And this is curious because I just started to play Wild Rift as a mid laner with Akali. I always play with Akali. It was my favorite, but then I just moved to the support area, and I was like, okay, support. I don't want another lane.
It's so cozy. I don't have to do anything. I just let somebody else do all the work. The ADC you farm.
I just steal kills with looks.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Reported.
Instant report. Remove from lobby. No more. It's like this is the funny thing, when you're working so hard to kill a character, it's like like Vex when you're spamming all your spells and you're like, you need one more spell, and then all of a sudden Lux ulti boing, is like, all my hard work gone.
Totally.
It's like, boing. So depressing.
I get the feeling.
Okay, Nadine, do you want to ask something more, or?
Oh yeah, we should. I mean, since we're talking, well, now that we've finished the conclusion about the fun Wild Rift, since we're talking about League of Legends, can you give us an interesting, your version of casting, a unique style of casting?
Oh my god, wait, do you want me to cast right now? Or like, no.
Imagine you're casting a Lux. A Lux. Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay.
If you'd want to do it in Spanish, you can go ahead.
And I'm used to it in English, but it's been such a long time now. It's been a month.
I got her on the spot.
I'm usually an analyst. I'm usually very enthusiastic, so I'm going to try to do my best here. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about this game here. But we've got here Lux on the roof right now, ready to be going through everyone's hearts with the ultimate. Let's see if Hugh can charge it fast enough. There we go. The team fight is starting. Lux for the binding. She's gonna get it. She's getting the shot. She got the kill back. Go! The kill back for Chris on Lux. Yes.
I honestly feel like I'm watching a soccer match. It's a Lux soccer match. Ah! That was actually very neat.
Well, I love it.
I don't know how to play.
I'm gonna have to watch this replay like 3 times now, because this sounds like you're actually watching a Lux game. The way you visualize it.
I do that. I imagine the Rift, and it's just like, there it is.
It's like you embody the character when you're commentating about it. Like you're excited when you're doing it.
I think it's a matter of I feel sort of childish when I'm casting in a way that, like, of course, we've seen many professional casters, but I want to bring that point of fun into it, right? I want to bring a little bit of like mischievousness into casting, if you want to call it that. So I'm what I call myself a cheerleader caster. I support my co-caster. I'm like, yes, you're totally right. Oh my gosh, I hadn't noticed that. And I act as a support for them. So that's what I usually do rather than play plain.
Interesting using of the word support. Like the other caster is the ADC and you're the support. Interesting.
He encourages me and I support him in a good way. I'm not the support that goes 070 and he's like, oh gosh.
He farms right. He's like,
Carmen, what advice you could give to a person that it's a bit shy and wants to be caster or hoster? Do you have any advices or something? Because I know there are people that want to be, but they just feel like shy and they don't want to
kind of like a low self-esteem thing.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, the first thing is work on your self-esteem. So with casting, it's very important. Nowadays, I think mental health is there. I need to pay attention to it. But if you're like, wait, I'm very confident when it comes to real life. When it comes to casting, I'm not so sure about it. Well, the first thing I should say is do not go into it thinking I'm going to be living just by being a caster. I think that's a hobby. Take a time to improve. But let's talk about the confidence thing, right? Do not look at the chat. That's my first advice. The chat is very few times somewhere where you want to be if you're casting. I've seen many casters just type it on the chat and it's like, do not do it. But there's always someone who's going to be making a main comment, not always, but most of the time, that will be that one comment and it might get deleted instantly. But you say it and that can really, make you feel down about it. Do not look at the chat. The second advice that I've got is, hey, why do you want to be casting? Is it because you know a lot about the game? Is it because you want to send it, you want to communicate about the game? Then that's because you know something already. Do you know something? If you think you belong here, you don't fake it till you make it. Like feeling safe while casting, it's very difficult. It also depends on like having a partner to cast with. I think that's another advice we'll give them. I'm not confident enough to do this. How do I start? Let someone to do it with you. They didn't have to be your lifetime partner in casting, but you can see many duos that have been staying together all this time because they know each other, they help each other out, and they make each other feel confident about things they are doing. So I feel like, trusting that person is so important. So having a partner, walking the prep beforehand is going to save you. If you feel not so confident about your casting skills, but you have a good prep done, being able to bring that information to the game, it's going to be so important. Like people might talk about that even more than they talk about, oh, she's not that good. Oh, but she did a lot of prep. Oh, she said this about this item I didn't know about. Just get ahead. So prep walk, get a mate to cast with, and do not look at the chat. And also, you're worth it. Even if you're not the best, you're doing this as a hobby. If they're not paying you for that yet. And what I got told actually, even when I was getting paid by a friend, it was like, you're getting paid to cast, to do something you like to do. Have fun with it. Just have fun. I think that's the most important thing, and I've hold it close to my heart every time I think about it. Like, have fun. That's the key. If you have fun, people will understand that you're having fun, and they will have fun too.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't want to work in a career that's gloomy. You're like, how many people in the world tell us this? Because I've heard lectures about, my friends work in a career that they hate, but they have to. And then you get to hear the counterpart, which somebody said, I work in a career, I get paid to do something I love. Imagine the psychological ramification of it, how positive is to your life. It's like, you get paid to do something you love. That alone is like a motivator to do great things.
I think so, and it also helps someone else telling you, because if you tell that to yourself, many times we don't take our own selves seriously, we don't listen to ourselves, but if someone else tells you, it's like, wait a second, this is true. So just have fun. If people notice you're being too tense, or even yourself, if you notice you're being too anxious, you get even more anxious because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm very nervous. Just relax, have fun, enjoy it. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. If it isn't meant to be, then it can always be a hobby, but just enjoy it, please.
try it
Nice.
to know it.
Yes.
And try. That's the most
Okay.
important thing. Not say no to anything.
I would like to know what was your most favorite experience or the happiest one?
Or the
For you?
funniest.
Oof. So the first experience, I think it was the first time I went to an offline event. It was Stockholm 2021.
Okay.
And I got to meet one of my best friends there because he was also casting. It was such a different thing than compared to everything else I had experienced before. We had talent Madia, so many snaps, being able to meet the teams in person, even though at the time there was COVID still, so we couldn't really get close to each other. But then if I have to think about like currently, like just I think about Granada Gaming and I think about
No, Granada Gaming.
yeah, because I was able to meet all the teams. I was able to meet you and talking to people about what they would like to be done about things to fix certain situations, and having the power to do something about it. It feels so good. Like actually being able to say, okay, I'm just taking all these things into account. I can't change things, you know. And there's a sense of I guess a sense of like centered attitude there because in a way you want to think in a few years I want people to think, oh, remember when Carmeline was doing this? Yeah, I loved it, and now I loved it even more because there's a new person. Like I guess the part of wanted to leave a mark in this entire thing. Granada Gaming was a very good first experience to start with.
The power is in the palm of your hands. Unlimited power.
I wish, man.
One day I will rule the world with gaming.
That sounds very tempting, though.
I'm giving her ideas. The power of corruption.
Okay, Nadim, do you have any questions?
So we could wrap it up. Now we'll start with any words of wisdom you want to embark on our amazing audience.
Be kind. Always be kind. Be kind to people, right? That's so important and many people do not do it. Please be kind. Be kind, be someone people want to look up to. Be the person you will have love to look up to when you're growing up. Take care of yourselves. That's very important. Do not burn out yourselves. If anything can wait, just give yourself time. Do not set expectations too high, as in like do not rely on expectations. Expectations can bring you down or up, and you should rely on your own self in terms of that. And just be yourselves. I know this is very common, but be yourselves. Just trust in who you are. And even if you're not sure of who you are, follow what you've been doing until that and improve as a person. So those 4 things. Nothing at all. Just small advice for daily life. Very easy to implement, but
it's the positive. You're looking at it from a very positive mentality, which is great because it's the positive flow, because you can't do something when you're being negative. So it's a good thing that you're thinking about it, pushing that to the positive. Here's something you can tell our audience where to follow you on social media so they can, receive the positive vibe.
Yes, of course. So I've got a Twitter that I shall freely use more, and that is it's Carmeline. And you can find me there. I still need to change my header, so if you read that, that is not true anymore. I'm just retiring from the casting all the time. But I love Sea Otter, so if you like Sea Otter content, that's the place to go to.
So, Cristina, would you like to wrap it up in Spanish if you want?
Bueno, pues yo daría ya las gracias a la gente que vea este último episodio que hemos grabado. Espero que os haya interesado muchísimo. Como siempre, hablar con Carmen es un placer. Yo he coincidido con ella en varios eventos y la verdad que tenía ganas de invitarte, de que viniera al programa. Como esto siempre se sigue un pequeño horario, pues vamos invitando a la gente, pues siguiendo el horario y demás. Y nada, pues ojalá verte pronto en una segunda temporada, porque esperemos que para el año que viene saquemos una segunda temporada de este programa.
I'm willing to join these as many times as you want.
Como ya he dicho antes también, antes de cambiar en inglés, podéis seguirla en sus redes sociales. Su cuenta es It's Carmeline. Así que yo sí que es verdad que os recomiendo que la sigáis mucho, porque habla mucho sobre su experiencia, comparte mucho los eventos en los que está, qué es lo que hace. Entonces, bueno, allí podéis saber un poquito más sobre ella. Now I'm going to switch on in English. And also, I would like to remember you to follow Goat Academy social media websites, or also maybe Twitter, Instagram, all of the places that they have. And also maybe Kumiho Esports if you are interested also in the club, because we are collaborating with them, and to know, and also just to know all the information that we share in our social corners. Well, I think that's all. Nadine, you can close the program if you want.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this amazing interview with this lady with the awesome star, Carmen. So, hope you enjoyed this interesting conversation. Until we meet again in the future. Take care.